Looking back at Tottenham v Manchester United. Match of the day, 2 extra. That's at 12:15. Live snooker for you this morning now on BBC Two. We join Hazel Irvine in Sheffield.
Day one, and Joe Perry has caused a massive upset. He has knocked out the defending champion. What a win, and what a reception from this crowd. Joe Perry beats Mark Selby by 10 frames to 4.
I can't be too hard on myself. That's just snooker at the end of the day. Sometimes you have to hold your hands up. Overall, in patches, it's not been a fantastic season, but then at the same time, I've still come out of the season winning 2 big tournaments, so it's not really that bad.
Good morning. It's an early Sunday morning start for us once again, and the Crucible Theatre was buzzing front of house last night, but backstage the corridors were abuzz too, humming with chat about the exit of the double defending champion Mark Selby. He had not been beaten in this venue since 2015, but 43-year-old Joe Perry more than held his nerve last night to scupper Mark's chances of a Crucible hat trick and a 4th title in total. So the number 1 seed is out, and the number 2 seed is in trouble as well, because Ronnie O'Sullivan is about to resume his second deciding session this morning against Scotland's former world number 2, Stephen Maguire. And the Rockets had all night to ponder events, rather unlikely events, in his own match.
5 times a champion of the world, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Pretty sloppy. And the black for the ton. Well, would you believe it? And Ronnie needs to settle. And he has made mistakes. Stephen Maguire has been picking up the pieces. 4 frames to 0. Oh, cracker.
Shot of the match so far. Big shot, this black. No. This could be a turning point in this match.
Now Ronnie has got to step up the gears. That's what people come to see. Ronnie O'Sullivan's 946th career century. Unbelievable. 4-3. It's a tough shot, that. But surely now he's going to cost him this frame.
Fabulous pot.
Stephen will be over the moon with a 3-frame advantage. And it's Ronnie O'Sullivan, one of the big favourites for the tournament, with it all to do. He trails Stephen Maguire by 6 frames to 3.
Yes, so he's got a big deficit to make up here. Never in his 26 years of playing in the Betfred World Championship has he faced a deficit like this one at this stage in the opening round. Now, John Parrott shared the opening day drama with us yesterday. John, how seismic were the events, not just in that match, but of course for the defending champion, and what do you put it all down to?
Well, it's the quality of the opposition he got. It was Joe Perry. I thought Joe Perry was excellent through that match. It was a tough draw for Mark, but it was a tough draw for Joe as well, but he played great. Had 6 breaks over 50 in the opening session, and he kept it together. That was the thing. He had the world number 1 on the ropes, and sometimes you can get ahead of yourself. He didn't do that, and he played exceptionally well. Selby, by his own standards, was very poor. He looked nervous to me.
Yeah, well, we understand that he's going to obviously go away and have a think about things, and by anyone else's standards, a 2 big win season, it would be just fine, but by his very lofty standards, and having had 5 wins last season, I wonder how you reflect on it all.
Well, the funny thing is, I thought it was green shoots of recovery earlier, and then he goes and wins in China, so he's coming in the best form he's been in all season, but just didn't happen for him. And we know the first rounds could be tricky here, and it certainly proved to be the case for him.
Well, of the 4 seeds that started yesterday, 3 of them are going to have to resume their matches down in their matches, because we've got Marco Fu up against it. We've also got Ali Carter up against it against Graham Dott as well. Now, interestingly, John, the last time we lost the first and second seeds in the first round was 1982, at the days of Steve Davis and Cliff Thorburn as 1 and 2. What's your honest assessment about the possibility of that happening? Will Ronnie go today?
I think he's got a chance. I always think 7-2 is virtually impossible. 6-3 is doable. The opening session, he's got to win at least 3-1. It's blatantly obvious. If it's 2-2, he's made no ground. If he can get a 3-1 at least, 4-0 is a bonus. He is banging this match.
OK, we shall see. Well, Ronnie O'Sullivan is backstage. And on a morning that also stages the warmest London Marathon on record, the temperature certainly rising backstage. Steve Maguire is certainly making the rocket glow a little bit. Now, that's Liam HIghfield. A flush of adrenaline, no doubt, for this left-hander from Stoke, making his debut at the Crucible today. And he will be playing the Masters champ, Mark Allen, who himself has had an almighty struggle to make it to the Crucible at this time. There's Stephen Maguire just backstage in the World Snooker office talking to Leo, our referee, who'll be refereeing very shortly in one of the other matches. Now, they're all preparing to take to the stage for their session. So with MC Rob Walker at the marathon today, we welcome Phil Seymour to do the honours. All yours, Phil.
Good morning and a very warm welcome to the Betfred World Snooker Championship here at the Crucible in Sheffield. This is round number 1. It's the first to 10 frames, and it's time now to meet the players. Firstly, on table number 1, he scored 3 great wins in the qualifiers to earn his debut spot here at the Crucible. An up-and-coming talent from Stoke, Liam HIghfield.
I'm coming home.
And his opponent, a former Crucible semi-finalist. He won his first Triple Crown title at this season's Masters. Would you welcome Mark Allen?
One more and more people just want more and more freedom and love. What he's looking for, one more and more people just want more and more freedom and love. What he's looking for, free from desire.
And on table number 2, a former UK champion, twice a Crucible semi-finalist, Stephen Maguire. And last but certainly not least, a winner of 5 ranking titles already this season and a 5-time champion of the world, the Rocket's Ronnie O'Sullivan.
So here we go. Second screens at the ready, by the way, if you want to watch the HIghfield Allen opening session via the BBC Sports website. But we are firmly focused on O'Sullivan Maguire's deciding session. John Parrott has made a decisive sprint for the commentary box, one that Mo Farah would be proud of. He's doing the Mobot right now. And there he joins Dennis Taylor. Morning, fellas.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. 10th frame.
Good morning, everyone. And
Stephen Maguire.
John Parrott safely in the commentary box and not even out of breath. So what an important opening frame this will be. Can Stephen Maguire continue where he left off, making that magnificent 84 break to extend his lead to 3 frames? Or can the Rocket launch a comeback here? And that's not a bad start. An early chance for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Always nice to knock a long one in at the start of a session.
Yes, Dennis, but Stephen Maguire will be kicking himself with that break off. I mean, 6-3 overnight. One thing you don't want to be doing is leaving one of those reds out. And enough, I just seen Ronnie in the practice room just before he came out, and it's exactly the shot he was practicing, so it turned up straight away for him.
5.
And minimum for Ronnie in this little mini session is at least 3-1. Gets him back to the interval at 7-6. He'll take that.
Ronnie's already thinking 3 or 4 shots ahead. He's working a plan out to get that black into play. Always fascinating to watch how he goes about it. Straight away, if he's straight on this red, he can get on the black and then the red to the left of the black. So didn't take him long.
Yeah, Dennis, but how well did he play? I mean, it looks a simple little shot that blew down to the gap, but couldn't have played it any better. Beautiful touch.
Yeah,
just perfect weld. He might have a little angle on this just to leave himself half ball on the black to stun up into the pack. That's what he was having to check at. Let's change your plan, because he's not quite right.
Well, if he goes 26. Up for the blue here, it's very awkward where the pink is to get into the reds.
Now,
this is a little awkward. He'd have to hit the pink full ball. If he hits it half ball, he could go in off to either corner pocket here. So he's got to get this just right. And he hit the pink plumb on. Could have been better, but he's still got a pot.
I mean, that is such a good shot, Dennis, isn't it? I mean, the pink's not on its spot. There's a massive gap. You've got to hit it exactly where you said. And did he? Perfect. Of course, forgetting the fact that he's so proficient left-handed, this is really nice because it's a natural angle around the back of the black. So brilliant chance already for Ronnie this morning, this one.
33.
Couldn't really control that one any better than that. That was always going to leave him the cue ball near the cushion, but first little mini tester for him in this break.
If he's straight on this red, he's just got a little bit more to do with the cue ball. Well, he's got a slight angle, should be okay. Still got a, he missed a few like this in the first session. Didn't get enough side on it.
41.
Played it with reverse side and didn't quite get the required amount that was needed. Just finished a little awkward on that
41.
red. He had a slight angle, but he was waiting for the reverse side and hadn't got enough on it.
Yeah, that was actually a very good shot in itself. Put them in the acute angles of these championship pockets with the reverse side on them was tough enough, but just come a little awkward, didn't they, off the black. But good contribution nevertheless, and a decent safety. This is tough to get safe from Stephen Maguire. Very tough. Yeah, so tough, in fact, he took the pot on. Always on the double kiss if you don't get this pot.
1.
And I can't knock him for doing it. He was very aggressive in his play yesterday and it paid dividends. Went for nearly everything that was there. Difficult to argue when it's give you a 6-3 lead.
8. Nine. Sixteen.
So second chance in this frame for Ronnie. And already
17.
We've only been playing just over 6.5 minutes. It looks like this frame's gone. So Stephen Maguire's 3-frame lead is already down to 2 by the look of it. And this is what can happen when you play Ronnie. The scoreboard changes very quickly.
23.
There you go, less than 7 minutes, and it's frame
24.
over. And it looks like he's hitting it really well. He had in his career he likes a challenge. Well, he certainly got one today.
$31. 32.
It seems to be getting quicker, this table. Day 2 here at the Crucible. Doesn't matter about that red.
35.
It's just the start that Ronnie O'Sullivan was looking for. Not the best break-off shot in the world from Stephen Maguire. And Ronnie O'Sullivan takes the opening frame. He's now just 2 behind at 6-4.
Yeah, you were talking about that break-off shot, Dennis. It's so important. And you see Stephen Maguire here. What you've got to do is, even if you don't get the reds how you want them, you've got to get that cue ball tight to the bottom cushion to at least make the reply more difficult. But where he's hit it, it's in no man's land there. And for somebody of Ronnie's capabilities, it's a big chance. And he cued this beautifully, didn't he?
Yeah, he didn't clinch the frame with that one visit as he looks over at the other table to see what's happening, but he played a good safety shot, and Stephen Maguire couldn't really see a return safety, so he took this difficult pot on and he got what I like to call, he got the DDK, a dreaded double kiss, and that cost him the frame.
Frame 11.
Yeah, you'd like to have easier shots than those being left for you, that's for certain. Yeah, it will be interesting to see what Stephen Maguire does today playing in this session, because he was very aggressive with his shot selection yesterday. Nearly everything that was there to have a go at was one or two of them I thought, well, just a little dump safety shot would have been better, but he's still taking them on. So will he do the same thing while he's in front? Always been a top quality match player in my eyes, and somebody who strikes the ball beautifully well. Probably hasn't won as much as he should have with the capabilities he's got, but that just shows the standard of the game. He's only managed to win 5 ranked events, which is not a great return for him. He's better than that.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point, John, because when he won the UK Championship, Stephen Maguire, in 2004, Ronnie was on record as saying he thought that Stephen Maguire could dominate the game of snooker for years to come. He's won his fair share, but as you say, John, he could have won a lot more with the talent that he has.
Yeah, you look at his game, Dennis, don't you? He scores. He's an excellent safety player, good match player, competes. All the things are there.
Fierce competitor. I mean, on the snooker table, he looks really angry out there. And he's such a nice lad away from the table, but it means so much to him.
So there's that shot we call the dump shot, that you just dump the cue ball on the top of the table and there's no way back to balk. And as I say, I thought he should have played a couple of those yesterday in the match when he didn't really have alternatives to get back. He took one in particular, long red, that was just careering into everything if he missed it. So I like that shot a bit better.
Yeah, just to reiterate, the dump shot was introduced by Cliff Thorburn, who last week here in the Crucible won the World Seniors Masters. 8 of us played, and the grinder at 70 years of age is now the World Seniors Masters. And he'll be watching this back in Canada. Maybe not the morning session, but he does like to follow the snooker.
I wonder what time he got to bed, Dennis. Just needs to miss the yellow. Made a bit of a difference, that. Cannon. I'm just wondering, there's a red at the top. The red that's closest to the cue ball is potable. Is he playing the safety? Yeah, he's playing the thin clip. The red that's up and above to the right was in a possible position. I thought he might have taken that and stunned over for maybe for the black, but didn't fancy it. That black being where it is tricky for the safety play here. It's right in the path. So Stephen Maguire has to be careful. He's got to make sure this is thin enough to not cannon that black.
Exactly the same problem for Ronnie, as John was mentioning. That black is in an awkward spot for the safety return. I mean, your target now with the safety is to try and sort of get a cannon onto the yellow, so to speak. You know you'd have it safe. Well, that's pretty good if it misses the brown. Well, even with a little flick, it's still good.
That was an excellent shot. Yes, the flick was a help. But Ronnie played the cue ball. You could see he put a bit of run inside on that. He was trying to widen the angle to get the cue ball over that side of the table, because now he's blocked off one side. Made it much more difficult for Stephen Maguire here. If he just played that cue ball straight up and down, he would have had a shot out. Where this is, he hasn't. No value in taking that one on.
that was the best he could do there. There's no way he could get the white over near to the yellow or behind the green and close to the cushion. The angle wasn't there for Ronnie on that occasion. So cat and mouse, who's going to make the first error here in this tactical exchange?
And if you can get the cue ball up direct line behind the green, it'll be ideal. Although saying that, the red he's knocked out is now going to be available. That's where he's tried to get the cue ball. See, that would have been perfect, but the one on the left-hand side has popped out. And it's a godsend for Ronnie, because if you take that red out of the equation, he'd have been in a lot of trouble.
This is totally the opposite to the opening frame, which didn't last very long. Now we've got a nice bout of safety play, which is just as exciting to watch.
I also think, Dennis, for Stephen Maguire, it's not a bad idea, is it? We've seen Ronnie start very quickly in that opening frame. Just having a real good hard match play frame when someone's trying to catch your lead isn't a bad thing. That's a very good shot. Cut off the left-hand side now. Pink's in the way of the reds. He's looking at the two reds that are virtually on top of the pink spot, but he's going to have to hit that one very thick to get through a gap there. I mean, he has actually got a pot on if he wanted to take one on. The red on the right-hand side goes, but is there any value in that? So if he thinks he can get through this gap, he'll play the safety. So, Stephen Maguire's excellent safety shot has forced the error. Can he score off it?
One.
And just a little run through on the black, drop that in and the red to the right hand side of the pink. Looks like it's available.
Eight.
Certainly scored well enough in the opening session. Stephen breaks of 101, 39, 95 and 84. So that department was working well.
Nine.
But already in this break, he's not making it too easy on himself. He was slightly wrong on the red. Now he's wrong on the colour. Not too encouraging the start of this break.
Yeah, he's going to have to leave himself a medium range pot if he takes the blue, that's for sure. I don't think he's got enough angle to power it round the table. He's got plenty of cue power. He thought about it there, but it
Green.
looks like he wants to take the green to get closer to the reds.
Funny thing is, Dennis, I think the bad shot was the black. He just didn't really have a look at what the angle of the red was. Now, is the cue ball pull up? Yes, and he's recovered well. That was an excellent shot.
12. Thirteen.
I don't know about you, John, but when I used to be playing, if you had a 3-frame advantage at the Crucible here in the World Championship, you used to, at the back of your mind, think, if I can just share the frames, I get over the line.
Yeah, nothing wrong with nursing a lead, Dennis, if you can do it, but Unfortunately, sometimes, as you say, you play Ronnie, it can be quick bursts and 2 or 3 go in no time. This is the important contribution here for me. If Stephen can win the frame here, which isn't easy, I know, under extreme pressure, we can win this one. That'll certainly settle him down. Also show Ronnie that you're still here and you're not bothered about what's going on.
Yeah, when you think Ronnie from 4-0 down made breaks of 54, 118 and 110 to get one behind, it was all looking good. And then
Thank you.
Stephen Maguire, he's not frightened of anybody in the game, is he?
No. And funny enough, that was a lovely little shot he just played there. He knew he was cueing close to the pink there with his cue and the follow through. And Bahas was watching it, but he just knew if he dropped it in, it was perfect for the black. And now, once this red goes, the black is open to both pockets. So be very careful with the follow through there, because obviously the cue gets a little thicker with the taper. So you can quite easily touch the pink there.
28.
He's got to be a little bit careful. Those 3 reds that are above the black are perfectly placed for the other pocket, the one the black's going to go in. So his next positional shot has to be right here. Well, if he's popped on the one in the middle pocket, he'll be delighted.
35.
And it looks like he has, because that was a positional shot that could have gone wrong. It's a funny break this at the moment. It's not going right for Stephen Maguire. There's problems all the time with this break. He pots the black here, the 2 reds on the top cushioner and his angle for following through. He can't get to the other side. The red's only really potable from one side of the table, and he keeps coming awkward. He's just looking now if he can drop on that red and play the cut in the corner. That's what he's had to leave himself. They're just a little bit awkward. Okay, you'd expect him to knock this in, but he hasn't been able to go about this break in the way he would have liked.
Just an untimely cough there. He had to get up off the shot. It's so compact here.
44.
And even on the other side of the arena, you can hear everything that's going on around you. There's the magnificent crucible, which totally changes when you get to the semi-final and one table. And that's when it really comes into its own.
49.
Well, meanwhile, still grasping for position. Stephen Maguire just had to come a little higher for that red that's above the black. He's now got to play another little cannon. If he can come through the gap there, it'd be nice. Just pop this red and stun up through the gap of the 2 reds. It'll be on pink or blue. But you missed the red, Stephen, at your own peril. What a miss that is.
49.
He did what we see happen so many times. He took his eye off the pot. He was concentrating on that cannon on the red, and that was the result. Now then, what can Ronnie make of this?
Well, I know one thing, Dennis. When he pots this red, if he can get on the black, the first thing he should be doing is playing the cannon into the 2 reds that are below the black. He's got a red over the corner as his insurance for the next ball. If he can just get on the black here, the first thing he'll be doing is he'll be getting those reds out. Well, he could pot the pink here and play the other red onto it. Interesting. I would have thought he'd have been getting those 2 reds out off a cannon and leaving that red over the corner.
7. 8.
Looks like he'll play it now, will he?
Yeah, I think he's just trying to wait till he gets enough points and right back in the match. But sooner or later,
16.
he's going to need those 2 reds that John mentioned. But yeah, get yourself right back in the frame and then concentrate on those. Is his mindset.
16.
Huge frame, this.
22.
Has to be said, they're all important, but Stephen Maguire was in the driving seat there.
23.
Looked like he was going to get to 7 frames. He still might do.
First one, he's got those 2 reds you mentioned earlier. He's also got the yellow, which is not great. Now, this is far from conclusive.
$29. 30.
And now he might bring the 2 reds into play. If you can just cannon in between them, that'll be perfect. He didn't quite get the cannon as he intended, but at least he's opened them, and if he drops this one in the middle, sure, he's just playing to get the white into the middle of the 2 reds there.
I mean, the point I was trying to make before, not trying to harbour on about, if he'd have done that earlier, the red over the corner pocket was there anyway. It didn't matter how the cannon came about, but I'm not going to tell him he's made 944 centuries, but I think he did miss a trick there.
Yeah, good recovery. That looked easy on your screen there, but into the middle pockets, they're quite sharp, so they are. But still quite a bit of work to do.
43.
Especially with the yellow almost tight on the ball cushion.
44.
If he does win the frame here, well, it'll be a magnificent contribution, but it'll be a major blow to Stephen Maguire. He will be kicking himself. He missed that red. He just got conscious of playing through the gap of the reds and making sure he got that
51.
right. Forgot the essential bit was pop the ball. All done it. Just changed his mind there, Ronnie, on the shot. He was going to play a screw back there and then went to the top of the cue ball. So, can he get a good angle on this yellow? Doesn't want to be straight.
Well, this looks to be absolutely perfect.
59.
But for some reason, the balls along the ball cushion are more difficult than the ones along the black cushion. So he's having the cue ball cleaned. He knows the importance of this next shot. Could be a frame winner.
Yeah, he's going to be playing this nice and smoothly. He's just had a look. He's going to be leaving the green in the middle pocket. So, what a clearance this could be. Well, this is just top quality snooker from O'Sullivan. Absolutely on a sixpence. Had one tricky red in the middle, and he played the cannon on the 2 reds, which he negotiated. But the positional shot from black to yellow, exceptional,
73.
and the yellow itself, a superb pot. And this has just been a wonderful contribution. And if Stephen Maguire wasn't a little bit nervous before today's session, he certainly is now. Fantastic from O'Sullivan. Vintage, vintage, vintage. Maguire was in early, should have won the frame. Mr. Simple Red in the corner trying to play position, and O'Sullivan clears up with a break of 86. It's getting interesting. 6-5.
Yeah, you mentioned Stephen should have clinched that frame, John, and but throughout the break he was just struggling slightly with his position. He never got into prime position, and then eventually it just caught up with him. He's concentrating on getting a cannon through the gap with the white to cannon the red. He knows he's perfect on the pink, and what did he do? He took his eye off the pot, concentrating too much on the cue ball, and the number of times we see that happen. But it wasn't an easy table to clear up from.
No, not at all. It was just one of those shots that was a little bit on the thin side, and because it was, he thought he was going to cannon the red on the right, and he tried to pinch a little bit out the pocket, and as you say, didn't concentrate properly. And there's inevitability about it when O'Sullivan comes to the table like that. Wonderful break.
Yeah, this was an unbelievable shot. Had to get this just perfect because the yellow was almost frozen on the cushion there, and he couldn't have put it any better by hand.
Yeah, he just had a lovely little angle there, just enough to run it and come through, and then great green in the middle pocket as well, and just a fabulous frame of snooker.
Frame 12. Stephen Maguire to break.
Well, we said at the start, Ronnie O'Sullivan needed a good opening to this session, and wow, he's taken both frames and just one behind. Game on. And that sort of thing happens when you start playing well. He's a bit annoyed with that safety shot, but when you start playing well, you get the little rub of the green, and he had it there. He hit that too thick cannon the other red, but fortunately still got the white up the table. Not what Stephen was after. He was trying to get further over to the left to stop this easy return safety for Ronnie.
Decent cue ball, but it's quite a nice target up there now, yellow and brown. Bit of a bigger area to leave the cue ball in. There could be a bit of trouble. It's just whether you can get the cue ball back there. Not only after you play a good shot, not promoting a red towards the corner, can you get the cue ball over there? Well, he's tried. It's still a pretty good shot.
That's blocked off the escape down the right side of the table. I have to give this a little bit of thought. He just tapped the table there, did Stephen, with the cue, just an acknowledgement.
Yeah, that shot before where Stephen Maguire needed half a roll on the cue ball to stop Ronnie seeing that red past the blue. And because he could clip it with a bit of run inside, he's put him in trouble. See the fine margins you're playing at this level. No, he hasn't refused many in this match. I don't think he's refusing this one either.
Where's the blue going? He's got the white back down the table, which was part of his intention, as well as taking the pot on.
Yeah, he's not only got it down the table, he's covered the right hand side with the pink. He's actually played a good safety shot there. There's no natural angle back into the baulk area, so Ronnie may have to leave the cue ball up this end, because I can't see a path. Taking a little bit of time. I don't blame him for that.
Oh.
Well, that's very unlucky because he
Stephen
did
Maguire,
well
7.
to find that gap to get the white back down the table. It'll be interesting to see as we show you the shot again. Found the gap. Unfortunate to plant the black into the pocket, but Stephen Maguire's got a red into the left corner. Bit of pressure on this one. Has to get it.
Doesn't have to take it, does he? But as I say, through this match, he's been taking everything else on. This is muck or nettles. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant piece of cueing. A star for that one.
Well, most players are very determined in the game of snooker. Determination's one of the big things, but I've never seen a player more determined than Stephen Maguire when he's at the table. You can see it in his face.
No.
Oh, he was certainly very good in the opening session. He got pegged back from 4-0 to 4-3 in this match, and then managed to win the last 2 frames of the session. So, and when he did get close, he showed all the right tenacity. We'll have to do the same thing here.
He's just got the wrong angle on the one into the right corner. That's why he's taking the one to the middle pocket. It's a slightly more difficult pot, but easier to get position.
70.
Yeah, you look at the table sometimes in these situations and you think to yourself, oh well, these are all out, they're nice and easy. No, there's always little problems. There's no such thing as an easy shot. You've got to make sure that position is correct. You can see Stephen already trying to work out exactly where he'd like the cue ball, because those 3 reds on the left are definitely a little bit of a problem. And we saw, oh, there you go, and he's had a kick. So you're never really 100% sure on what's going to happen in this game.
Well, you can see the black jump in the air there. He's still got a pot on, and the blue
24
is near the middle, the yellow is near the corner, so there's no problem getting onto a colour, but he certainly can't get to the black, that's for sure. And the pink's still tied up. I just got to give this one a little bit of care and attention here. No.
Stephen Maguire, 24.
Was a very untimely kick he got there.
Yeah, it just sort of throws you out of your kilter with your position. I still didn't think he'd missed that one though. But, the one he had yesterday when he was 4-0 up, running through for the black, was one of the worst ones you could ever get, because just completely kippered his position. He looked like for all the world going 5-0 with a great chance, and next minute, massive kick.
It's a pretty good opening red. That wasn't as easy as it looked, that's for sure. He's finished a bit straight on the yellow. The blue, well, it cuts in. It's a bit on the thin side, so it's back to the yellow, but there's no problem with cue power. And Ronnie's game. Look at the white, just without hitting it that hard. The action he got on that, all down to timing.
3.
And if he's come absolutely straight, or as good as, it's just a run through onto the black. Yeah, you can get there. He's got black or pink. Yeah, beautifully timed that yellow. So much better than it looked. Couldn't have played it any better. Ominous.
11.
Yeah, it's not straightforward here. Just a little bit awkward at the moment.
Yeah, I do think the red to the bottom of the two will pot, but of course if he knocks that in, he's going to leave himself low on the next black, so he's not wanting to do that. Or whatever he wants, it wasn't that. Just come up one roll short.
19.
It was a little further, would have been on that in the corner, so it might be end of break. Stephen Maguire will be delighted to got out of that with only 19 points.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 19.
Played that with probably a little bit of frustration there. He wouldn't be playing a cross double, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I think well, you can see he's annoyed with himself, but he took it as you could call it a cross double to nothing, because if it goes in, he's on the blue and very little chance of leaving anything. So that's what he's faced with. Doesn't pass the blue, so that's why Ronnie risked that back double. But you could see in his seat he was a bit frustrated, because he doesn't want to be making any mistakes. He's got it in his mindset. He just wants to play perfect snooker. You can't always do it and win the frame in one visit.
I see that blue being away from the cushion just a bit too much is stopping Stephen Maguire. He could play the red slow and drop him behind the blue, but he can't do it with the blues too far off the cushion. So you can do that though. What a shot that is! If he's on the blue, which he deserves to be, and of course he isn't, you can tell by his face what a pot that was. Fantastic. He's unlucky not to be on the blue there.
Shot of the championship so far, you'd have to say. I mean, he played it with a bit of safety in mind, but little smile there when he snookered himself on the blue. But he can put, well, he's looking at the possibility of putting the yellow in off the blue, is he?
Oh, I don't know, Dennis, but if he's taking a pot on here, is this the right percentage shot here?
Wow.
Stephen Maguire, 1.
All he had to do was just drop tight in behind the yellow, and he
Settle
had
down,
Ronnie in
please.
all
Thank
sorts of
you.
trouble. You see that in off's on, but not with a bit of pace.
Well, you have to hit the blue thinner, don't you? It's just, you know, the harder you hit it, the thinner you have to make the contact with the other ball. But well, it's a big one to take on.
One.
See, the reds look as if they're sitting nicely, but they are awkward. That's why Ronnie's having to give it quite a bit of thought.
See, ideally you'd like to get on the black here. I mean, he might not be able to, but he'd love to have been on the black, played a little cannon.
7.
Well, I might be able to do it now. He plays a cannon onto the 2 reds, stays on the other one. It's behind the black spot, just to try and open them up, because it's pretty obvious they're awkward. Well, he'll be doing that a little bit later in this break, you would think. He'll be trying to get a cannon to get them out.
13. 14.
Look at that pot success rate in this session.
And he's got a chance here if he wants to, just to how he sees it. Yeah, he's
21.
He's pretty decent, isn't he?
$22.
They must be satisfied they go. They've been awkward though, the 2 reds, right from the start of this frame.
$29.
Yeah, he missed a number of those in the session yesterday. He's not missing many in the second session, that's for sure.
Oh, he's just held the spot there because he thinks that's the angle that this red will go. So the black will go highest available, which is the brown spot.
37. 38.
Lost the cue ball. Always been awkward. It's amazing those 2 reds have been in a really horrible spot all through the frame. And I'm going to hark on about that one as well. I think he should have moved them earlier in the break.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 38.
.25 in front, that's why I pushed the green safe. Has to be careful he doesn't get the double kiss here. That can always happen. It was a tricky little one. He avoided the double kiss, and you can always get that double, the back double. It's always on because you're playing the safety shot. And you can't get it any safer than it is now, that's for sure. Blocked off the escape route down the right side of the table. So 2 cushions, just avoid the yellow. And where's the red going to finish? Well, the cue ball is going to be safe. Wow, this is a test of your cueing. That is a John Parrott special. One of the best in the business was John, and tight on the cushion.
Yeah, he's not bad though, is he? I mean, that was wonderful cue, and if anyone needs to know how to play that, his bridge hand there was absolutely rock solid, and he took the cue back plenty far enough. And key to playing off the cushions is make sure you got plenty of cue going through the ball.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
That's a useful snooker with only been able to tie at the moment. Ronnie would want to hit this up and down would be the easiest, you think. Well, he's coming off. I think this is more difficult than just straight up and down.
Yeah, what you don't want to do either is knock the green off the cushion. You don't want to knock the green off the cushion.
I can't believe he's gone that way.
You don't want to knock the green off the cushion. Goodness me. Oh. The two balls on the right-hand side cushion were in a lovely safe position for Ronnie there. I'm with you, Dennis. I think he should have played it the other way. So that didn't happen. Okay, this is a tough shot, but the green's waiting for you if you knock it in. Wow, what a clever shot that was. He's not only played the yellow and potted it, he screwed back to flick the pink off the cushion. What a chance this is. Okay, that pink's no gimme, but it's a lot better than it was.
5.
Wow, our frame can turn round, Dennis, all off that one shot.
Absolutely amazing. Now he needs to have an angle on the blue to be able to drop in behind the pink, and that looks about perfect. He might even be able to try and move it, but if he can get right in behind it, about sort of 12 inches behind the pink, even if he has to use the rest, he's got little to do to get on the black.
Well, it's not perfect, this. It's just slightly off angle the wrong way, so if you knock it in, the cue ball's going to finish near to the cushion, but at least he's got a shot at it. Why play it that hard?
Stephen Maguire, 14.
Amazing. Wow, what a frame of snooker this has turned out to be.
And in the pink goes. 3 frames played in this session, and Ronnie O'Sullivan has taken all 3, and we're now square at 6 frames apiece.
As quiet as possible, please. Thank you.
Well, everything happened in that frame, especially towards the end, and it was a fascinating frame to watch.
Yeah, it was. I mean, all the way through. It was, I mean, Stephen Maguire took on an absolutely superb long red at the start of the frame, which he stroked in beautifully. This is the one he screws it back, and where he's unlucky here is he pots this, screws back, and doesn't finish on the blue. I mean, this is just a pot and a half. Great cueing, flicks off the brown, and unfortunately for him, it flicks off the brown in an area where he can't see the blue. But what about the next shot, Dennis?
Well, I don't think the blue needed to be a little bit further up the table for it to be a natural. I mean, it is, if you just roll the yellows, take the white out of the equation, play the yellow in off the blue, it'll work. But because he's playing it with pace to get up to the reds, watch what happens. It hits the blue and catches the knuckles. So it's like a billiard type shot that he was faced with there. And he could have quite easily have took Ronnie tight in behind the yellow, but I think he was a bit disappointed he didn't finish on the blue.
But then, of course, Stephen had a little bit of luck later in the frame, didn't he? He's fluked the snooker, you know, which is he's played a shot here. I mean, there's no way in a million years you could ever foresee what was going to happen here. But he's ended up fluking the snooker behind the black, and Ronnie's come up and played it. And you're thinking, well, whatever you do, do not play it up and down the table the way you do, and move the green off the cushion, which is exactly
13.
what he does.
Ronnie O'Sullivan to
Yeah, amazing how he knocked the green into play. Should have went up and down the spots really near enough. Anyway, that's history, and we're all square. And what a first round tie we now have. Well, this could be in behind the green. Not that he intended to play it there. No, that was a poor break off from Ronnie.
I'll be interested to see what Stephen Maguire's response is to that, because, well, quite frankly, he hit the pink too hard in that last frame. He had a great chance to make a clearance. Yes, he come a little bit awkward, but if he drops the pink in, at least he would have had first shot at the black. But he played it so hard, it rattled the jaws now. Has it affected him? Ooh, if that's landed on the black.
One.
Obviously not. It would have been there. Good pot though.
Yeah, he was looking to see if he could bend it slightly around the red, but I don't know if this is the right shot to play either. I mean, it's got to get a lot of side to create the potting angle. Listen, just get down and play one of the balk colours and leave the white tight on the cushion. Don't try and force the issue here. It's big frame mid-session interval coming up after this one.
Stephen Maguire 1.
Has he spotted a plant, Dennis? It's the free baller. Oof, look at that. Perfect.
Got to hit the first red correct to get the second red, to hit the third red. It's there.
Well, I don't think he considered a certainty, because he would have played it slightly different, wouldn't he? If it was an absolute certainty, he'd have played a bit more position in the shot, but he's still on the brown in the middle. Or, you know, these players get down and knock them in. I think if he thought it was an absolute certainty, he'd have played it a bit slower or a bit firmer to come in and out of balk. Anyway, it went in.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
Oh, where's the brown coming to? Well, look where the brown has landed. No. It wasn't the easiest of browns he took on, but for it to finish there and block the path for that red, it's certainly Ronnie that's getting the run of the ball at the moment.
Well, Stephen had it in the last game, didn't he, with that snooker, but he didn't make the most of it.
Yeah, over the longer matches, the lady luck tends to even itself out, but you got to take advantage when you do get it. Bit too thick with the safety, and there's only the green to play behind. It's not bad though.
Yeah, I'll give you he's had a bit of luck there as well, because he didn't play it like that, and the reds come on the side cushion. That could easily have been in a possible position, that one on the left. So a couple of shots in this frame, he's been quite fortunate. Don't care who you are, Dennis, it all helps.
Other table at the mid-session interval, so there'll be quite a bit of movement and noise. It's all about trying to get the white close to the cushion, because there's no yellow and brown to get behind. This is close to the corner pocket.
Quietly, please.
It's
Thank you.
very close.
Foul. Stephen Maguire 4.
No. How aggressive will Stephen be? This red into the left corner is tough. he's had a look to see what he might leave, so that tells me that he's going to take it on. Yeah, he doesn't refuse much. He'll be on the black, but we've seen him take one on earlier and got a double kiss and left Ronnie in.
Yeah, good luck with this one. Oh, that's brilliant. That really is brilliant. What a great shot. Couldn't hit that any better. I mean, he's got a shot into the pack. That'll do you. You could do with just play a little screw cannon to that red. He just needs an angle now on the colour just to come back down and maybe move a few balls around in that pack. Well, there's 2 reds to the left. They'll go at the moment, so that's okay.
No.
Pots the brown. 2 reds to the left of the pink are available. So doesn't need to think too much about shifting any reds just yet.
$13. $14.
He just hasn't quite scored as heavily as he did yesterday in the opening session so far this morning, Stephen. That's probably why he's caused himself his own bit of trouble. He's had a couple of really good chances in amongst the balls, and well, he did get 49 in one frame, but made a ricket in the other one when he was in amongst the balls. So he's got to score again, because one thing you have to do at this level is score, and particularly
21.
against O'Sullivan, because you don't keep getting bucket loads of chances.
$22.
Now, can play on the loose red that's by the pink, but the angle he's come on, I would suggest a stun up into the right hand red of that cluster. It looks like he's screwing. It's a bit dangerous screwing. As you want to stun these, that's better. He did stun it, and hopefully he's got one in the middle. And if you play that shot with screw back, you'll end up bringing the cue ball back towards the top 2 pockets.
29.
So he stuns up in there and couldn't hit that much better. That's the way to play it.
$30. Yeah.
Another horrendous contact. It's so, I mean, it's so frustrating because the white goes on through, he's perfect on the yellow, he gets a big heavy contact, and now he's got a much more difficult pot. If it goes past the blue, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it sort of messes with your brain a little bit, doesn't it? Because you've got your own plan about how you're going about the break. And in the last frame, Stephen had the same thing happen, and he missed a red he ordinarily wouldn't miss. Well played. Good going. I don't know whether he's using the new chalk, Dennis, to be honest, because the chalk that a lot of the boys are using now, well, he's not. He's using another manufacturer's older style chalk that the boys use, but the ones are raving on the fact they don't get that many kicks. So Stephen obviously isn't a fan of it, but he has been having a fair few kicks. I've seen 3 in the match for him so far.
Yeah, I'm saving up for a bar of that chalk, John. £25 for a bar of chalk.
39.
I think if I was out there playing, Dennis, and I was on £18,000 for just qualifying, I think I might invest. But he's going about these pretty good so far.
This is typical of Stephen Maguire. Lost 3 frames in a row, but the opening red was an
46.
absolute gem of a pot that he took on.
Oh, he deserves everything he gets after that pot. That really was
47.
special. But I'd say, you know, I mentioned yesterday, here it is. He's refused virtually nothing in this match. He's been aggressive. He's taken his shots on. Maybe that's the way he thinks he's got to play against Ronnie. And he's decided that's the plan, and I'm not going to change from it.
54.
I think he's only beaten Ronnie 4 times in the 22 times that they've played, so
55.
you can't keep doing the same thing if you're losing. Maybe a change in the attitude or a change in the way you go about the game is the thing you needed to do. Now this has been more like it in the scoring department. He's taken these very well.
62. 63. 69. 70.
Yeah, this is brilliant stuff from Stephen Maguire. Showing how good a temperament he has. He gets frustrated at times and bangs the cue every now and again, but nothing wrong with that. But he has
77.
a good temperament, as he's proving here.
78.
30 centuries he's made this season. 32 last season. He's made 384 centuries, and he's also made the maximum on 3 occasions.
84. 84 on the frame. Stephen Maguire.
Well, no century break, but that was such an important frame for Stephen Maguire to take, having lost 3 in a row. He is in front, and he goes to the mid-session interval at 7 frames to 6. What a match.
Well, he certainly hasn't shrunk in his own estimation, old Stephen Maguire. He's still going for his shots, isn't he? And this looks like it is going to go all the way. Fascinating start to our Sunday morning. We're going to quickly bring you up to date with what's happening on the other side of the curtain there. And it's our first chance in this year's Crucible to catch up with the new Masters champion, Mark Allen. Now, after his brilliant victory at Ali Pali, it's amazing to think that Allen slipped down the rankings so far that he actually fell out of the top 16 at one point and looked in danger of becoming the first Masters champion not to make it automatically to the Crucible thereafter. In fact, it was only at the last event in China a couple of weeks ago that he did just enough to scrape into the 16 and to avoid qualifying himself. And instead, he's drawn a newbie. It's Stokes' Liam HIghfield. He's 27, second lowest ranked qualifier in the field this year at number 64. And at the 8th attempt, he's finally made it to the Crucible. Like Allen, he's a lefty, and they've met only once before in the dim and distant in a small European event won 8 years ago by the Northern Irishman. Interesting to note that the winner of this match will now meet Joe Perry, although they might have figured their prize would have been a date with Mark Selby. So, Ken Doherty, Peter Ebdon looking after this one, and we're into frame 1. Allen 31 points ahead here.
Played it well. Just had to drop that in a bit weight. Never easy playing across the table like that, especially at that speed. So now this is an excellent opportunity for Mark Allen, and you'd expect him to wrap up the first frame from this visit now.
Yeah, but going back to that, you know, for Liam HIghfield, first time here, he would have watched it, of course, grew up watching it on TV. And all of a sudden you're out there in the chair, you're taking in the surroundings, you're so close to your opponent sitting in the chair, and it's a tournament, of course, like no other, very unique. So it's going to take him a little bit of time to settle down. And of course, he's playing one of the favourites as well.
25 and frame.
I think it would be fair to say, Ken, that Mark Allen has always been a fantastic potter and break builder. Very, very prolific amateur. One of the best amateurs
15.
we've ever seen. Used to win everything as an amateur. But his safety game has come on so much in the last 2 or 3 seasons. It is a tremendous match player now. It's a very delicate touch there.
Yeah, his 12th appearance. 13th this year. He's been here 12 times. Semi-final is the best Mark Allen has managed. Lost 17-13 to John Higgins that year. But that was back in 2009. Hasn't been past the second round now in the last 4 years. So, but of course he's in that little section of the draw where the defending champion has gone out. So Joe Perry will be awaiting the winner of this match.
29.
And I think that Masters win, Peter, will give Mark Allen that extra bit of confidence, I feel, that he's done it in one of the majors that we have on the tour. And you never know, it could be a dark horse this year, Mark Allen.
36.
Well, he's certainly got the class and the ability to win it, Ken, that's for sure. Very, very gifted player. Great touch, great control, great potter, great competitor.
42. 43.
And great to watch as well. He really gets on with it, doesn't he? This for a positional shot. What a shot.
55. 56.
Let's have a look at that little shot he played. What a wonderful shot, as you said,
62.
rightly, Peter. In between the yellow and brown.
63.
Back out for the 2 reds below the pink. Fantastic.
He's looking very sharp, Ken, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got the pace of the
68.
table very quickly. It's a good break.
70.
Good way to start any match, and sends out a
73.
little message to your opponent. So settles you down nicely. He's looking good. He had a couple of chances, Liam Highfield, in that first frame. He'd be disappointed, particularly the one with the rest.
82.
He's not going to bother about the break. It's a lovely break of 88 from the Masters champion, Mark Allen. He takes the opening frame against Liam Highfield. He leads by 1 frame to 0.
Thank you, the second frame. Mark Allen to break. Foul. Liam HIghfield.
Well, that takes some doing. Very poor break-off shot from Mark Allen there, needless to say. This is a very tough red he's taking on here. Oh, what an absolute corker. What a shot that is. Well, if that doesn't do his confidence the power of good, nothing will.
Great shot. Red above the black here. He's got to try and get on. And this looks good. This is an excellent positional shot as well. Well done. Needs to go a little bit further.
3.
He can pot the red and come through the gap. The two reds and back on for the black. Well, he played it with a lot of drag and just enough room to come off the top cushion. Let's have a look at that. He played it with a lot of bottom on the cue ball.
11.
Judged it very nicely indeed.
12.
Well, this will help matters. Getting rid of this red to the left of the black. It will open the black into both pockets.
19.
Two reds to the right of the pink. He's just having a look at them there now. I'm sure both of them pot into the left centre pocket, and he's going to come around and have a look. The bottom one pot into this bottom right hand corner pocket as well. Red below the pink pots into the right centre. So he's got a
27.
few options here.
That was very confidently struck. They're not easy, these middles. They've been playing very small for a couple of seasons now. Especially at acute angles. If you got to play with any pace whatsoever, they're very, very tough. This was struck tremendously well, right in the heart of the pocket. Well, he played the attacking shot into the reds here. Touch of left-hand side, top spin. No, he didn't play it with enough pace. It could be okay though. The red into the centre is very tricky and it's very missable. Cue ball's quite close to the red. Very difficult to judge the angle sometimes on these sort of shots. Striking down into the cue ball as well makes it even more difficult. No, that's near jaw. No, it's turning. It's turning. It's in.
36.
Oh, for all the world, Ken, that looked as if that was going to hit the near knuckle.
Yeah, it looked like it was turning in left and then turned out. It's another good pot here.
It was a double breaker, Ken. Is this the Crucible or Augusta?
43.
It's a good break so far. Just straight on the blue. Just wanted to be top side of the blue. Now, if you can put the red, get on the blacker.
49.
Maybe back up for the blue. One good shot here could really win the frame. that's very good. Yeah, excellent shot. Played very confidently indeed. And this, we talked about settling down in the Crucible, your first time here, but if you can win the frame one visit here, it'll do the world of good.
And that needed a very good shot as well, because he was just off straight the wrong way.
57.
Struck that beautifully. This has been a really classy response here from Liam Highfield. He could see what good touch his opponent was in the first frame. He's just not happy there though. He's probably got a little bit of work to do with the cue ball here. He's on an angle that he doesn't particularly like. Obviously there's no problem with the pink. Yeah. That's a good shot for a left-hander.
$64.
64 break, and of course that 5-point fell that Mark gave away after his break off. So just this red required. Well played. Yeah. Lovely shot.
55.
Nicely on the blue. And this is a great response.
70. $71.
Well, if this is what we're in store for, Ken, this is going to be a great match.
Yeah, absolutely. Break of 88 from Mark Allen in the first frame.
77. 78.
And it would be a great achievement to make a century in your debut here at the Crucible.
$84. 85. $91.
And he's made this break in
92.
very quick for fashion. Just an average shot time of 17 seconds. Oh, this looks good. Nice positional shot. Just the red for the century.
Such a shame that he didn't make the century, but a wonderful break from Liam Highfield there. He levels things up.
It's Mark Allen won, Liam Highfield won.
So Liam just short of a maiden century on his Crucible debut at that 99, the highest score actually, the highest knock of the match so far, because Allen took the next two frames, a 56 from him in the next, and the new Masters champion is 3-1 in front at the interval. That match is online live right now for you. But we're going to be going back to enjoy the closing stages of a real blockbuster. It's Stephen Maguire against Ronnie O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan's come roaring back at him, taking the first 3 frames of that little mini session there. But it is Maguire who's still in control going in here. It was an extraordinary set of circumstances. Now, when we look back to frame 11, Stephen had a chance to go 7-4 in front here, just breaks down here. Brilliant clearance from Ronnie. This was the moment, the key moment from that frame.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, it's slightly thinner than it looks there on your TV screen. He's trying to play through he's going to get the gap through the 2 reds and not get the cannon, and because he's avoided the cannon, he's ended up missing the pot. But what a brilliant clearance that was, the follow from O'Sullivan.
It was. And in the very next frame, yet again, it was possibly Stevens to take, but a missed pink this time. This was such drama, wasn't it, Joe?
I mean, I've been talking with a couple of players. I mean, you've really got to play a little soft screw shot on this. Just give the pocket a bit more of a chance. He's played it the aggressive way to run through, but it's basically because of the pace he's played at, the pocket won't accept it. If he plays the little screw back, OK, you leave the cue ball near the side cushion, but at least you've got first dig at the black.
So suddenly, it's all square. It comes out for frame 13, and you've got to give credit to Stephen Maguire here, because with this man right on your tail, he maintains the positivity in that 13th frame.
He played some fantastic shots, and he took a long red along the side cushion that was absolutely wonderful from the balk area. Just stroked it straight in and made a break and got a 7-6 lead. He's been brilliant through the whole match. He's been very aggressive. He's taken the game to Ronnie. But Ronnie himself, he'd have taken the 3-1 in the mini session to start off today, so it's all to play for.
It sure is. We've got a possible 6 more frames left in this one. We will be remaining on the air after 12:15. If you want to watch Match of the Day Extra, that's going to go onto the red button, but we don't want to miss the climax of this match. A possible 6 more to play,
14.
and we're going to head back to Dennis and indeed to John. Start sprinting now.
I'm off.
And it's Stephen Maguire who is going to get this first frame after the mid-session interval underway. And looks to be a pretty good break off. That's where you want it, close to the cushion. And yeah, very good. What's happened? You got my drink, I've got your drink. Is this my glass?
Okay, sorted.
Nice to see both players. 7-6, first round of the Crucible. Nice to see that. I'm still waiting to hear John Parrott's footsteps. He's not quite as fast this time as he was at the start. Yeah, I can hear him coming. Got to be careful. That red, the right side of the table's a little bit awkward for the safety. Well avoided. That's a terrific return safety shot.
He's in a spot of bother here. Usually there's a red or something you can drop on, try and hide the cue ball, but can't go off the side into a pack anywhere. Red on the right hand side cushion's no good for a pot anyway. Even if he was forced into it, you can't get position. Don't know whether that red, there's 2 to the left of the pink, the top one is potable, but boy is that a tough shot. He had a little look at it a second ago.
Yes, thank you.
That is brilliant. That is a shot you do not see every day of the week. Fabulous.
And Ronnie come to the table there and tapped the cue because he was in such a difficult spot there. I mean, that was well thought out. Wants to miss the brown. Well, that's not bad. It's covered in all the main bunch of reds. You can see the one to the right corner. It's a sort of pot that he took on in the previous frame, but the black's not available this time. So can he just get past the brown to snick this one? Needs a thin one. Excellent.
Well, he had laser surgery a couple of years ago for his eyes, and it certainly worked. You couldn't hit that any better.
Yeah, the blues covering this red, I think. Well, certainly one of them. Because had he been able to seen the potting angle, Stephen would have definitely took it on, because the black is now available into the right corner.
Yeah, he's having a look at the other red, isn't he? The one inside, Dennis. Yep, that's the one he's looking at. He's going.
Well, I thought he'd got away with it for a minute, but there's a couple of possible pots on for Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's going to carry on as he's played throughout this match, attacking the balls. That's the way he plays the game. This is not straightforward, and it looks like a natural angle to, well, he might be able to miss the brown. If he plays a plain ball, he might be able to get between the brown and green, but he's got to give this 100% concentration. It's not a straightforward cut into the middle. Just keep your eye on the cue ball. It's definitely going to go near that brown if he plays a plain ball. He's found the gap and needs to pull up a little bit. Just a fraction the wrong side of the blue, but because of the location of that red for the left corner, he's okay.
Six. Seven. $14. 15. 22. 23. 30. 31.
Yeah, slightly more difficult now, picking off the loose reds. He's just got one there, that the pot in the centre pocket, which if he stuns him would leave him on the pink, so he could play black for that red. He's just having a survey of the scene. So here's that red in the centre.
38.
'That was the problem, wasn't it, John? He was
38.
bridging awkwardly there.
It's just the striking down that makes that shot a little bit more difficult. It's very easy to flick a bit aside on those, and when you do, that's what can happen. If he wasn't hampered with the cueing, you'd never miss that one.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have missed it had he have rolled it in, but there was no use to him. He wanted to get on the pink as you had predicted.
And you know what? That shot Stephen Maguire's played there, he's landed betwixt and between. Because if he was short on the green, he could play the cannon into the pack off the side cushion. If he was a bit further, he'd play the blue and split the pack up. loose red. Needs to get a good angle here, up for the blue. This is a key shot for this frame. If you can get this red and get nice and high on the blue, half ball angle into the pack, because they are absolutely ripe to be burst open. A lovely little gap at the top. Oh, you can't miss those.
Stephen Maguire 4.
Yeah, once again, took his eye off the pot. He was concentrating on the position, and not the best time to start missing straightforward shots. The pressure will build as we get to the climax of this fascinating opening first round match. And that's poor safety from Ronnie there. Be worth taking this red on. It's the only one he could leave, but if he gets it, it'd be nicely on the blue or ball colour. Poor shot from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Well, that wasn't easy, but that's two chances Stephen's missed here to get. You can see the perfect angle he had on the blue again. Pot the blue and into the pack. Major chances at this level. The one before he missed in the corner was a bad mistake. But Ronnie's helping him in a little bit. Where's that red going? Oh, he's got away with it.
Wow. That's amazing. I'm sure Ronnie felt once he missed the pot, he would have been thinking, I've put him right in amongst them. He's had a result there. Far too thick a contact, which caused him to cannon the other red, and after a series of little kisses and cannons, that red ran safe.
Well, you would think he'd have to move that red that's over the corner pocket. Just dig down, a little bit of run inside, play it about half ball and take the white up behind the green somewhere. Settle for that. Good shot this. Ooh. One point looked like he was going to get him behind the yellow, but not to be. I think he's left. Well, it's not easy, but it's a shot to nothing. I practiced this shot many hours. Ooh. So now there should be a shot to nothing for Stephen Maguire as well. Massive pot this is. Context of the match, if he can knock this in. Virtually guaranteed to be on some colour. And he knew it, and he hit it so badly. Far too thick.
Good cueing there. Just a little bit closer to the cushion of the cue ball than he would have liked, but it was a very good opening red there. And with a 35-point advantage This could be a very important contribution here. 3 reds, awkward, but there's 4 nicely in the open.
Yeah, looks simple, but need good cueing, slightly hitting down. One cannon he didn't want.
6.
Well, it's a long straight red up into the corner pocket. And we're right down his cue, and it's there.
7.
That's the type of shot where you've got to deliver that cue in a straight line, and he did there, and we were right down the cue of Ronnie O'Sullivan. Look at that, you're virtually playing the shot
11.
yourself.
Twelve.
Thank you.
18. 19.
59, the difference. He had a quick glance at the scoreboard there,
25.
Ronnie.
26.
So he took all the loose reds without any problem. And now he's brought a couple into play, although they've gone safe, but another quick glance at the scoreboard.
31.
He's 65 in front with just 59 there. This to make absolutely sure.
31 and the frame.
In fact, Stephen
Ronnie
Maguire
O'Sullivan.
stays in his seat. So Ronnie O'Sullivan takes the frame, and we're all square. It's 7 frames all. Well, John, you just now sense that this one could go to the deciding frame.
I just 1 or 2 worrying signs for me with Stephen Maguire, as well as he's played in this match. I mean, he's got an unbelievable chance here, Dennis. I mean, this is really bread and butter for somebody of his ability. Screw this in, up the table, leave half ball on the blue. The reds are absolutely perfect. I mean, this was such a big chance, and to miss this red, well, unfortunately, it's unforgivable. He should never, ever be missing that. And it's that instant there where he would have been perfect. He was thinking so much about the position. He's missed the red. That was a massive chance.
Yeah, psychologically, as he's looking at the across at the scoreboard, I think, of the other table. But when Ronnie won 3 frames in a row, he came back with a break of 84. So, you know, when the pressure's on, he can still do it. But from a psychological point of view, that was a very bad miss on that red. So that's the sort of thing you've got to put straight out of your mind and forget about it. Easier said than done. That's why they have so many sports psychologists and all the various sports.
Yeah, I think he's playing well enough, Stephen Maguire. He's just got to, as I say, not miss ones like that, and the chances certainly against Ronnie.
15.
And from his point of view, Ronnie, for 6-3 down to 7-7, well, you'd have bitten your hand off for that scoreline. So it's still all to play for, but O'Sullivan looks a favourite now.
Still not the best break-off shot from Ronnie. He's left that red for the right corner, the type of shot that we tell you the players practice because it rears its head so many times. Needs to pull up cue ball, or a cannon on the brown might help. Yeah, that'll do. As long as you're just this side of the baulk line, you know you can pot either the yellow or green.
Yeah, lovely clean pot that was. Right in the centre of the pocket from Steve Maguire. Had a chance in the last of shots or nothing we mentioned, which he hit far too thick, so that was a confidence builder. The green is a little bit thin where he is, but you'd like to play down the left-hand side of the table as we look, because 2 reds are potable. So it's a bit of a thin shot. Try and hold the cue ball. There's the green gone, and he's played it very well. That's an excellent shot. Well played.
4. 5.
Well, for the most part, his long potting has been excellent in this match. And because of that cannon, going slightly awry, he's got another one mid-range. Requires good cueing. And he hit across it. Tell that.
Stephen Maguire,
cue ball was lost in that position. It's just, as I say, it's tough to be critical on him, but it's just 1 or 2 little things happening, which weren't happening at the start of the match, which looks like it might be running away from him a little bit.
One. Six. Seven.
Nice cannon here would bring quite a few into play. He's stuck on one of the reds, which is a little bit unfortunate.
14.
Couldn't have played it much better. Just spun back and landed on that red.
He's unlucky there. Wow, this will be some shot. Clip thin in the middle, round for the black. Tough shots to play those.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 14.
A little unlucky there.
Surely that doesn't pot in the middle pocket. If you're right in behind the red, you might be able to pot it. I mean, he's so far away from it, that would take some potting.
I wouldn't fancy that 6 inches behind it, not 6 foot away. That is certainly not a pool table. You'd be lucky to knock that one in.
And now we're faced with one of those awkward frames with a couple of reds up the other end of the table. The safety zone's now behind the black and near the cushion. This might help the situation. That gets one of the reds back up the table and back to normal.
Yeah, the red that's up in the other half of the table is the one that's the problem, really, because Stephen would play off the left-hand red, side cushion, top cushion, and back to the balk area, but of course he'd be leaving that red on the right-hand side. So that might just be a push up and down off this red on the right. So leave the cue ball tight on the top cushion. And played it well.
That red that John mentioned might be the one that Ronnie will play, yeah. He's just got to be a wee bit careful when playing this. Yeah. Make sure he didn't kiss anything, and now we are back to a normal frame now.
Well, Stephen was looking at those two reds as a plant onto something, but I don't think he's taking that on.
We're in frame 15 and Ronnie O'Sullivan has never been ahead in the match. What a time it would be to take a one frame advantage. He's battled back from 4-0 down, from 6-3 down.
And there's something about that shot with the red on the left-hand side Ronnie doesn't like about it. It does seem to be the one to play, this red. Should be just side cushion and top cushion, really. That's it. Yeah, he played it with a bit of check. I suppose he played it thinking, well, I might leave a shot to nothing. That's why he wasn't too keen on it. And there is one red that Stephen Maguire can have a dig at. Three reds in a line above the black to the left, the top one.
Very important safety exchange here, because the way the reds are situated and blue, pink and black. Nicely placed. One mistake could be costly. Oh, that's close to the middle. Now he's okay. Hit this near jaw. He's putting quite a few faces, Ronnie. You don't normally see that. Grimacing.
Yes, by his own high standards, isn't it? That last one particularly well, but you can see him, he wasn't too happy with it, but he managed to miss the jaw, as you rightly said, Dennis. Now, all about missing the red on the left-hand side here. Ordinarily, the up and down would be simple, but just make sure you miss that red. Which he has done. Good stuff at the minute. And you know that the first mistake or the first great pot is going to yield a very good chance. So it's important.
Well, sooner or later, one of the players is going to knock one of these shots to nothing in. And this is another chance for Stephen Maguire to cut the red into the right corner. Could finish on a balk colour if it drops. Right in the centre of the pocket. It's a little bit pacey though. But mind you, he's dropped on the brown and he can get back up for the two reds just to the right of the pink spot if he's got an angle to do that. And if this goes in, great chance. Yeah, perfect angle.
Couldn't ask for better, could he? Oh, well, because he didn't pot the brown cleanly, he got the cannon on the blue. Had a bit of a wobble, that Brown.
5.
Yep, just went in off the far jaw. If he'd have got that in the middle, he'd have been all right. Still got a chance at this with the rest.
Six.
Excellent recovery. He's just shaking his head there. The cue ball didn't want to stop. It just kept rolling. Could have done with pulling up half a roll sooner. Might be slightly hampered with the cueing. Yep, that's the problem. So, Stephen, you had a couple of these in the match. Concentrate on the pot. Make sure you knock that ball in. You're still in the driving seat. And that's well played. And a nice little kiss for once.
10. 11.
This is what all those hours of practice is for. In the heat of battle, the Crucible, 7-all with Ronnie O'Sullivan. When the chance comes, you've got to go to work and you've got to score. Greatest test of character for you, this place.
18.
1 or 2 worrying signs.
19.
And that's another one.
Tell you what, he got a terrible kick there again. I'm nearly certain. Let's have a look.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the ball just came off dead, didn't it? So that's the 4th one I've seen him have in the match so far. And now, of course, this is a much more difficult pot and positional shot to play. Oh, well done. Just potted the ball cleanly and took his chance. He deserves that because a little poor run of the ball.
26.
It's a good pot. Yeah, going back to that, there's been 1 or 2 worrying signs. He missed a couple of chances, and you're thinking to yourself,
27.
He missed the boat a little bit, but he's recovering well here. I'm a massive fan of the way he hits the ball, always have been. I think he's an excellent cueist and good striker of the ball.
34.
Plays with authority.
$35.
As you mentioned earlier, Dennis, he's not afraid to play anyone, is he? Take them all on.
Yeah, reputations don't mean a thing to this tough Scottish player. I remember practicing with him up at Spencer's club that's no longer there in Stirling, where Stephen Hendry used to play, John Higgins, and he was just turning professional, and I knew it was a great talent I was playing against. And of course he had many sessions with Stephen Hendry that brought him on, as it did with John Higgins. But meanwhile, he's played
40.
One of the worst positional shots he's played in the match. .38 in front. Had he dropped on a red there, he didn't need that many more pots.
Yeah, just trying to control the white, wasn't he, there? Just to put it up shorter was better than longer there. At least have had a shot at one.
Stephen Maguire, 40.
It's a very good effort, though, at this stage of the match. 40 break.
He's got as you can see, a 38-point lead in this frame, but what he hasn't got is the insurance of any colour safe. You know, when you've got a lead like this and you're playing somebody like an O'Sullivan or a Hendry or one of the people who are likely to clear up on you, you'd love to have an insurance policy there with the ball on the side cushion, but none of the colours are safe. So despite the 38-point lead, it's not a comfort zone, this frame.
Well, he did take the pot on there, which was quite surprising. He had an easy safety shot. He thought he might be able to drop this in, get on the black, but having hit it thin, he was always going to stick the red up.
One.
And that's worked out a treat. It's developed one of the reds. And the other two that are together are not too badly placed.
Seven.
They might look
Eight.
safe, those two reds, but there's enough room there to leave the white somewhere, and he'd leave one to the middle or one to the corner.
Yes, you can play off this red here, Dennis. Nice angle on the blue, sort of half ball, drop the
13.
blue in and play in that area. And it is all about
14.
Well, he's played it to leave himself straighter on the blue, but he can get in behind, same place. And this is the key shot to this frame.
Yeah, anywhere in that area, he was always going to leave one of the
19.
reds on.
Well, we'll take that. He thought that was a kick of some nature. The ball jumped off the table there, and then he got a little flick. You could see it bounce, but where he's finished is fine. And as I mentioned earlier, this frame was always a danger zone for Stephen Maguire. There was no ball colour safe, none of the others' colours safe, and if Ronnie O'Sullivan got a chance, the counter clearance was there the way he's been hitting it this morning.
This is an awkward one, though. It's back into a blind pocket. He's looking down the side of the red, and the pocket's to the left, so you can't really see the pocket in your eye line. But not a problem. When I say not a problem, it's going to have to be a long, straight blue now. Well, if he takes these colours, he's going to get himself in front for the very first time in this match.
35.
Needs the green, brown, blue and pink.
38. 42. 47.
And that's the one he wanted. So from 6-3 down, all of a sudden, the rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan gets himself into the lead, and he leads Stephen Maguire by 8 frames to 7.
Well, here on BBC Two, we're going to stay on the air. It's Match of the Day 2 Extra that will be moving now to the red button. So if you need your fill of football, that's where you will find it. But we're sticking with the snooker for now. The Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan, 2 frames away from completing a memorable comeback. Back to Dennis and John.
Thanks, Hazel, and Ronnie back into the arena, and Stephen also back. So fascinating first round this has turned out to be.
Frame 16.
Oops, watch the butt of your cue there, Stephen. Well, whatever it was, it's not there now. well, if it survived that, well, there it is. What is it? Oops.
Let's just clean them up.
Oh, it is a wasp. Oh, we had a wasp. Is it a wasp? I think it is. Well, I don't blame him, because we've seen at the Masters, Sean Murphy with
Frame 16. Like Stephen Maguire's
Darth Vader trying to kill a wasp. Stephen Hendry doesn't like wasps either, that's for sure.
Well, Stephen breaks off, and as you said, Dennis, he'd been in front in all of this match. 4-0, 6-3, the way through it. What can he find? No, he's gone behind 8-7. It's a tough ask.
A little lapse in concentration there with the safety shot. You don't often see Ronnie shake his head, but that was a bad slip up there. Just over 4 hours of fascinating snooker.
Yeah, I think Stephen just having a look to see whether that black spot is going to be available. Looks like the red might be covering it, the one that's above.
1.
Can't really see from here what's happening with that spot.
Just 1 second, please, Stephen.
Bit of a lapse there. I know he was close to the cushion, but he just hit it far too thick. That's why he cannoned the other red.
Thank you. 8. Nine. And again, please.
As close as possible without touching is what Jan Verhaas is trying to do there.
Thank you. 16.
And Stephen wasn't too enamoured with his last shot. He turned away a little bit in disgust. He's looking to see whether it'll pop from this side now. It's only, obviously you can't see all of the black from that side, but just wondering whether he can get the potting angle. Not sure he knows yet.
$17.
Lovely shot. Played that really well. Stun run through off the cushion. Couldn't hit that any better.
Stephen Maguire, wow. 17.
Once again, took his eye off the pot, just concentrating on what he was doing with the cue ball, and oh, that could be costly. Balls flying everywhere. That's if he can get past the pink. Must be tight.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got to put a bit of swerve on it, Dennis. Otherwise, he'd have been down playing that already. Yep.
Now that looks like a straightforward shot, but it's not. Having to play it with side, he had to swerve that slightly. And that missed blue could be very, very costly, as we show. He's playing with lots of right-hand side just to swerve it past the pink to make the potting angle.
7. Eight.
Oh, this is finishing awkward, is it? He doesn't have too much to do with the cue ball.
For all Ronnie's good play this morning as well, and he has played really well. Some of the clearances have been great. Most of Steve Maguire's problems
15.
have been self-inflicted. That blew off the spot there. Reddy missed
16.
in the corner going up for blue earlier. But the shots he's played really well in this match. It's tough to be that critical of him because he has played well, but ultimately when you're playing at this level, when your chances come, you can't miss blues off the spot like that.
23. $24. Top. $31. $32. $39.
Just finished a little awkward because the blue's not on the spot, so that red into the right middle is not easy to get nicely onto colour off that. That's why he's taking the slightly more difficult pot.
40.
Once again, he's just a little bit short and a little bit too far. Played for the one into the left corner, which is the one he's still going to take by the looks of things. The white just ran on about 6 inches further than he intended. I know they were saying he looked very relaxed yesterday, but I thought he looked a little bit edgy yesterday. Certainly not edgy this morning, John. I think he looks more relaxed today than he did yesterday.
I know. It's a remarkable thing, isn't it? Because he's playing under the utmost of pressure, but because he's so fluent and so natural, you just think it's different for him than anybody else. It's not. You know, he's
47.
trying as hard as anybody to win, but he goes about it in such a manner that looks so easy and economical that you think it must be easy. It's not. He's just producing great snooker when he needs it the most.
Yeah, look at the pot success rate, 95%.
And he was already the 5-2 was general price with the bookmakers before this year's championship for Ronnie to win it, and he'll be a lot shorter than that if he comes through this match, and I think he'll fly in this tournament.
55.
Certainly if he's been 4-0 down and 6-3 down with a chance of going out of the tournament and you turn it round and win the match. Okay, this one's not over yet, but it'll give him
56.
bags more confidence.
Just glancing at the scoreboard just to see exactly what he needs. A couple of pots would do it. Yeah, this is the sort of form that he showed throughout the season. I mean, to win 5 ranking titles, incredible.
62.
I think
63.
Ding Junhui was the last player to do it a few seasons ago.
I think Mark Selby might be another one. He was he last year, the same thing, 5 of them or something. But anyway, in good company, whoever they are. But this is just the best snooker of the match when he needs it the most. That's why he's that good.
71.
Stephen can't have too many complaints. He's had his chances. Just hasn't taken them as well as he should have done today.
77.
It's a miss,
77.
but it doesn't matter. With a wonderful break, the contribution of 77 from Ronnie O'Sullivan. And from looking in trouble in this match, he looks like he's straight into the winning post. He now leads Steve Maguire by 9 frames to 7.
Well, Stephen was in there, and he's done it a few times where he took his eye off the pot, concentrating on what he was doing with the cue ball, and that was a costly blue that he missed into the right centre pocket. We'll show you it again. Not a lot to do with. There was plenty of reds open, but he still felt, if I can get full ball onto the pink, I can really open all of the game up. And he took his eye off the pot and hit it probably harder than he intended to. You'll see the shot here. He just got it all wrong.
I mean, he even went wide on the jaw, didn't he? I mean, it wasn't like it was close and went round the pocket. He just straight on the left jaw with the shot. And you know, when you consider some of the long balls he's knocked in the match, you think to yourself, how can you miss that one? But he did, and had to face the consequences. And ultimately for him, it is his own few mistakes he's made in this match which has cost him.
Well, he's got to win 3 in a row, and what he wants to be thinking about there is his start to the match where he won all 4 frames. That's the sort of thoughts you want to be putting through your mind, and it's now a tall order for him, especially with the form that Ronnie O'Sullivan is starting to show. But he can only take it frame at a time.
Frame 17. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Now, can Ronnie get a better break-off shot? He's covered the red to the right this time. You can see the one to the left though. And he'll keep attacking, will Stephen Maguire. Now, this would be a big confidence booster if he can knock this in. Oh, unlucky. He's at the stage now, Stephen Maguire, where he knows one mistake and he could be out of this year's Betfred World Championship. That's a brilliant pot. That is a sensational shot that we've just witnessed there. Absolutely incredible. Not only to pot the red, but to do what he did with the cue ball and leave the black. That was brilliant, John.
Yeah, one of the best shots he's played in the match, and explain to me how Mr. Blue off the spot when he can knock them in. I mean, it's just one of the hardest shots you can play, that. Lovely little flick as well, the cannon onto the black.
Just give me a second, please. I think it goes up.
Andrew has just said, give me a second, Stephen. Got to get the black into a little awkward spot there.
8.
But no problem, there's plenty of room for it. I don't know whether he got a slight heavy contact or he just didn't push the cue through this time, because he's come up short. He was playing for the one behind
14.
the pink. And maybe it was a little slight kick. Whatever it was, it's
thank you.
Spoiled the visit.
Stephen Maguire, 14.
Yeah, I think it was definitely one, Dennis. It was interesting that Jan Bahas spent a while cleaning the blue after it had gone in the pocket, so I think he thought it was one as well. Ruined the position, that's for sure. Unlucky.
We haven't had many awkward frames, but the balls are just going into difficult positions here, all clustered around the black there. And that red, the left side of the table, the problem with the safety shot down that side. Have to make sure to avoid that. Well, there is a gap, but I mean, it's a tough enough pot. And the cue ball, you would have to say, would be going towards the pink and the red just to the right there. Long pot success rate, just at 53%. Be a nice time to knock this one in. And it did go towards the pink.
1.
But it was all about the pot there. You just felt he was always going to finish on something if the red went in.
Yeah, far from an easy table this at the moment. Excellent long pot from Ronnie, but lots of work to be done here. Very awkward. Pink goes up on the green, so
7.
Cue ball's going to do some travelling in this break.
Eight.
It's finished dead straight by the looks of things. Which just makes the next shot a little bit more difficult.
13.
long as he keeps getting the correct
14.
side of the blue, and this time he has. In fact, if he's gone too far, he's always got the pink that's on the green spot. And sometimes you see Ronnie O'Sullivan make breaks
20.
when they don't seem to be on and the balls are awkward. The pink safely back on its own spot now, which helps.
Yeah, if he can pot this and screw the other side of the two reds for the pink in the middle. Well, he couldn't do it, so he's gone up. The same
21.
thing, he goes that side, stun off the pink, bottom red goes. Mind you, has he run a little bit too far? Maybe. He'd like to have cue ball to have pulled up a touch before that one. Has he got the gap?
27.
Yes.
Well, he trusted a little bit to luck there, and he's landed on a straight pink up into the corner. It's opened 5 or 6 reds up. This next shot could be the key to taking this match, as we show you that cannon. You're looking for a little bit of good fortune. And it's there. Has Stephen played his last shot in this year's World Championship, as we see that pink disappear into the corner. It's amazing. A few shots ago, it looked a very awkward table. Meanwhile, he's come up a little bit short again on the blue. If he had have travelled a few more inches, it would have been straightforward. So still quite a bit to do now that he's finished straight on the blue.
$40. $41.
Still quite a lot to do. Just giving himself a bit of a telling off there. He needs a bit of good fortune to get away with this, because that was a risky yellow, and boy has he had a bit of good fortune. Okay, maybe in trouble after the next shot, but I think he took the yellow out of a little frustration there.
Excellent shot. Good reply. Look at that. Needs a good safety. A red that's next to the two reds next to the black. Stephen's look at. He's got to get that cue ball in behind green and blue here. This is a big shot really, because you're going to be promoting a red towards the corner. You've got to get that cue ball in behind green and blue.
He's also going to be bringing the black into play, which he needs really, being behind. Oh, is there a gap? I think there is, looking at Stephen's body language as he walked away from the table. I think he can just get past the green. Bit unlucky there. It was a good effort. Just enough room. Oh, it needs to pull up. He snookered on the black.
One.
Had he finished on the black, Stephen would have thought, well, that's it, but not just yet.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Oh, he's brought the red up, and he's left the one. Well, this, you would have to say, could be it if he knocks this in. And he's got a slight angle on the red. He'll be perfect on the black. And he has got a slight angle. Just a bit of noise from the other table as the session finishes, and he's it's been a great performance from Ronnie O'Sullivan this morning, it has to be said. 6-3 down. Stephen Maguire was looking very good, but Ronnie has produced when it was needed.
15.
Lots of things have happened in the match. Got a terrible kick, which would have given him a 5-0 lead. But that's the sort of things that can happen in this game, but you can't take anything away from this performance. The defending champion, world #1, was knocked out by Joe Perry, and everyone thought
90.
The same thing might happen this man. But Ronnie O'Sullivan
20.
had other ideas. And he's going to take a bit of stopping, it has to be said. It doesn't matter 24. What happens with this next shot. Stephen Maguire will come forward and congratulate Ronnie O'Sullivan. They've got great respect for each other.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 24.
And a really, truly terrific performance from Ronnie O'Sullivan. 6-3 behind against a very talented Stephen Maguire, but he's come back, and in the end, he takes this first round tie by 10 frames to 7.
Now that's a performance, isn't it? 4-0 down, 3-6 down to Stephen Maguire. He's turned it around, and vintage O'Sullivan in the end.
He was excellent. He really was. I mean, I mentioned on commentary, it's just because he's so fluent and so natural with what he's doing. You forget about the circumstances. You know, he's behind in the World Championships in the first round, those scorelines that you've mentioned, and he makes clearances as if they're nothing. You know, he's in the club.
Stephen Maguire had chances, obviously, to try and extend his leads, particularly in that second session. How will he reflect on the chances in that second session, do you think?
He'll be a bit sore about it, because, I mean, there was a couple of shots where it was pretty simple. I mean, we highlighted one where he had a chance to pot a red, come up half ball on the blue, Pack's there waiting for you to be split. You know, he'd never miss the red in the club, and he's taken his eye off it. Those things are massive when you're playing in the World Championships, particularly against O'Sullivan. So chances like that, a couple of times he was in the balls and he made 30s and 40s instead of making the 70s and 80s you need. So it's tough on him, because I think he played really well in that match, but ultimately one or two mistakes have cost him.
I tell you, you can't underestimate the level of that performance, John, because when you look back through the record books, there are very few turnarounds from that kind of deficit when you're in a best of 19 frames at the Crucible. I mean, Judd Trump's done it, obviously, and Marco Fu did it last year from 2-7 behind, but they're rare, and I just wonder how much pressure as a player you feel knowing that they're rare going out for a second session.
Well, he must have done, absolutely, and I'd be interested to see if we speak to him, you know, what he thought about his own performance yesterday, because today he looked very relaxed. You know, he looked today as if he was starting the match, not finishing it. And as I say, to be able to play under the severest of pressures, and to play so naturally and so fluently, and to clear up and to know, you know, the situations in the matches when, you know, your opponent's made a mistake and here's my chance to pounce. He's just brilliant at it.
How do you assess his season, John? Because, you know, one of the things that I'm curious to know here is he's won 5 titles. He's got a 14th maximum break. He could smash the £1 million barrier for prize money in a season if he gets to the final here. Is everything here a bonus for him, or do you feel that in his mind this is what he really genuinely wants and needs?
It's very difficult to know what he thinks, but he's been very clever, I think. He's just been taking the pressure off himself and enjoying playing the game for what it is. He said the other day that the most he enjoys it is when he's playing in the tournaments and the matches, and he's probably just taking each match as it comes. He's had a stellar season. There's no getting away from that. Some of the performances have been unbelievable. He's been beating really good players in finals, 10-2s and things like that, which doesn't happen very often. He's in tremendous form. He's the favourite when they came here for the championship. He'll be a very strong favourite after that turnaround today. I think he'll fly for the rest of it.
OK, and obviously psychologically for the rest of the field, the world number one, Mark Selby's been such a presence for the last 3 years, 4 years, in fact. And the fact that he's gone and Ronnie's showing this kind of form, what does that do to the rest of the field here, John?
Well, trust me, they'd have liked both of them to have gone out. There's absolutely, we're very selfish snooker players. We'd like to see both of them get. They'd have loved both of them to have gone out. Ronnie, I have to say, from his point of view, if he keeps playing well and the draw goes like you think it may, I think he'll be delighted Mark Selby's gone out, because he's called him the torturer in the past. He doesn't like particularly playing in long matches. So for him to go in, that's a boost for him. I don't know whether that had any bearing on his turnaround today, the way he played, but he'll be glad to see Mark Selby at home.
And what about age? 42. We've talked about John Higgins, also in his 40s, and Mark Williams coming here as that golden generation. Actually, Sean Murphy's in here practising. Sean had a fantastic quote about these guys are actually just enjoying this golden generation moment and everything that's left for them, because they've seen it all and they've done it all, and it's all a bonus for them.
Well, they're just fantastic players, and it just goes to show you that if you play the right shot to the highest standard all the time, you can win a lot of trophies. I mean, your stat the other day about what would they win in half? 11 out of 25 is incredible, but that was a tough year if you were a junior playing snooker, wasn't it, coming through with them lot? No wonder you packed in.
And interesting, actually, that Joe Perry is also a member of that class of 92, and he too is obviously coming very much to the core in this championship. We're going to speak to Ronnie in a little while. He's just otherwise engaged at the moment, but in the meantime, we want to show you what's happening on the other side of the table. Last we saw that, it was Mark Allen, the Masters champion, at 3-1 up. They share the next couple of frames, and we'll pick them up into the 7th. It's Alan 4-2 ahead here, and we're back to Peter and Alan McManus.
Well, that's a mistake. Needs to be careful not to play a push shot here. Played that very well. Very difficult when the balls are as close as that. That's a lovely little cannon, well played.
Check this. Thank you.
Yeah, referee's just checking to see would the pink go back in its own spot. It doesn't, so it goes on the highest available,
7,
which is the green.
8.
The red that's on the pink spot is available into the bottom left-hand corner pocket. He has it again, a nice angle if he wishes to go into the pack of reds. May not decide at this stage. Let's see, will he? Yeah, he has now. Needs a split, and he's got one. Classic
13.
case of when you have the angle, you take the opportunity straight away. Even if you have a loose red
14.
or 2-1, sometimes it's still better to try and open as many reds as possible.
Absolutely can.
21.
And that one very attacking shot from Mark Allen should win him this frame.
$22.
Slightly decelerated there. Overcut the red slightly. Got a heavy contact there. Could have been on nothing. Yeah, definitely got a heavy contact there.
29. 30.
That's a little bit careless. You don't expect him to miss this red, but he certainly would have rather to been a bit straighter.
33. 34.
Well played.
$41. 42. 47. 48.
And that was the red that Mark Allen needed to leave Liam Highfield requiring snookers in this frame. And despite not being at his very best this morning,
Mark Allen 52.
Despite snookers, he's moved into a 5-2 lead.
And so Mark Allen is actually pushed on because they actually share the next couple of frames, and that session, the first in their match, finishes 6-3 to the Masters champion. They'll be back tomorrow morning to finish that one off. But we've seen quite a scrap, haven't we? And the man of the moment, Ronnie O'Sullivan, is through to the second round. And unusual circumstances for you, Ronnie. You were really chasing your tail there, 4-0 down, 3-6 down, and quite a scrap in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, but Stephen's played 3 qualifying matches. You know, him and Joe Perry probably the hardest matches for anyone to get in the first round. So I knew it was going to be tough, and I didn't do myself any favours because I was really poor the first 4. But I found a little bit of something, and I thought as long as I find that, you know, you've got a bit of belief, you know.
What kind of confidence is that going to give you? Because the way you did come back, particularly in that second session this morning.
I don't really know. You know, I'm never the most confident. You know, before I go into matches, my expectations are always low, and you know, if I get a result, I always think, yeah, that was a bonus. So I never feel pressure because of that's how my mindset is. You know, but you know, each match is different. As long as you're in the tournament, you got half a chance. You know?
One thing today though was a couple of brilliant clearances, wasn't it? You must be very pleased with them, especially you know in the last session when it's fantastic clearances.
Yeah, always nice to nick them frames, you know. But then there's the other side of it. You don't want to have to keep relying on your opponent to make mistakes to give you that opportunity. And I know it is tense out at the Crucible, so there will be mistakes. But I prefer just dominating from the first ball to the end. You know that I prefer that style. You know,
like everyone else.
Yeah, you know, it's just you know, but you have to dig in, you know, and I was able to do that today.
John and I were actually just talking before you came in, Ronnie, about the fact that it's been an absolutely brilliant season. 5 big titles, a 14th maximum break. Is everything else gravy here? Is everything else a bonus when you come to the Crucible?
Well, everything was gravy before the start of the season, you know, because, you know, the tour's, you know, it's you know, you're coming at round 1 now, so unless you make the quarterfinals, you know, you probably don't even make your expenses. So it's not like golf where the trickle down is so good that, you know, if you get a top 10, you're sorted for the rest of the season. So for everyone on the tour, it's really tough. And I thought, you know, I feel like I didn't really suit me to kind of put that pressure on myself. So finding other things to do, you know, so that's, you know, becomes, like you say, snooker becomes gravy. If I get a result, great. If I don't, at least my year hasn't been a complete waste of time, you know, because it can be for a lot of players.
Have you found it easy then to space your tournaments out? You know what your schedule is now. You know how many you're playing and what you're doing, or what?
No, I just fit in snooker when I can. Really, I don't take holidays. I don't take breaks now because obviously I'm busy doing other stuff. So when I do get time, I have to put time on the table because you know, I do think you do need to practice, you know, but it's just finding the time to fit it in there. But, you know, like you say, that's a good word, gravy, you know, everything's just gravy. Bisto.
I mention it now.
There's a Bisto advert in there somewhere.
So, you know, when you come back after 26 years to the Crucible, is it still a place that gets the nerves going? Do you still feel nervous going out there?
I didn't feel nerves yesterday in the first 4 frames, you know, it was a weird feeling, you know, but once I got into the match, you know, a little bit, I thought, you know, I really do want to be here. It's the best, it's a great venue, you know, but I was embarrassed out there yesterday, the first 4 frames. I couldn't even look at people in the crowd because I just felt so embarrassed, you know, my highest break was 27, and I was just pleased to have made a 27, you know, and it's so it can be really great or it can be really bad, you know, so, you know, it's you know, I was just...
Don't knock 27s, by the way, they're good for me.
Yeah, that was in the old days. That win your tournaments now, though.
I tell you what, Mark Selby's out. Clearly there was a lot of talk about maybe having the world's #1, well, the top 2 seeds going out. You were under pressure yourself, but you look at that draw now, Mark Selby's out. Psychologically, how does it affect you and the rest of the field to know that the guy who's kind of ruled the roost here the last few years?
Yeah, I think Mark was obviously favourite coming into the tournament, so obviously him going out just automatically, even last night myself, I thought, you know what, it has opened up the draw massively because, you know, if you think you're going to win this World Championships, you think you'll beat Selby to win it, whatever round you get to, you know. So, yeah, everyone will have great belief, but, you know, every tournament goes up. You know, another player that's on form, on fire. You know, who's to say Kieran Wilson can't win it? You know, he's got the pedigree, he's got the temperament. You know, I always fancy John Higgins if he's on it, you know, but there's so many players here. Maybe Judd Trump, it could be his year, you know, you just don't know, you know, but it's only day 2. You've got another 15 days to unravel.
Exactly. It is, as we keep saying, a marathon, not a sprint. But you're through. Great performance today. Well done.
How did Mo do in the marathon?
Mo was 3rd.
Oh, that's what time you do?
Yeah, 3rd with a British record on here.
Fantastic,
So not
cool,
bad,
yeah, brilliant.
OK. 2 hours, 6 minutes and 22 seconds.
It's not great.
That's your nice career, Ronnie. We'll let you go. Thank you very much for joining us.
Cheers.
And we'll be back on BBC
Cheers, thank you.
2 at 2:30 because we got the 2005 champion Sean Murphy up against Jamie Jones of Wales, who's a qualifier who really has set the cat amongst the pigeons with a 10-0 victory over Liang Wenbo to get here. So do not miss that. Quick bite to eat, Johnny, and we're back on air.
It's all go.
See you soon. Bye.